Mark, man, appreciate you. Good to see you again. Been a long time, but man, really, we've been focused as a group, just being disciplined, really focused on the fundamentals of where our eyes should be every snap, and just playing with relentless effort. I mean, the biggest thing is just trying to establish that culture that we're trying to play with, and making sure that the guys are really disciplined in their technique and fundamentals, and making sure their eyes in the right spot. I mean, the biggest thing playing defensive back is playing with great fundamentals. Don't get beat with your eyes, and just being able to play fast. So that's what we've been focusing on this group. Overall, those guys they're buying into what we ask them to do every single day, putting in the work. My group, led by Roger and a couple guys like Nehemiah and Simp and those guys that they've been showing up every single day to come in and buy in and ask what them, doing what I'm asking them to do, and just loving exactly what they've been doing.
Okay. Next question, Jason Caldwell.
Zach, man, for you, being home, I know is a special thing. What have you told the coaches, and how important is it when this thing opens up and you can get prospects on campus? You were a part of that as a recruit. You know the value of getting guys to visit Auburn. How big is that going to be for you guys as a staff? And if that happens in June.
Well, that's the one thing that we talk about as a staff. I mean, the biggest thing is hoping this thing do. We have an opportunity to get this thing open so we can get people on campus. I mean, everything about the planes is just very special. I mean, when you get here, you actually have to feel it. So when guys get on campus, they can feel that family atmosphere. The things that we're talking to them on Zoom about. It's hard to express that through Zoom until you actually get here in Auburn and you feel the people, not only just the people around the building, but the community. I mean, that's the most important thing is when these families come down here, they can truly feel what we're selling on Zoom. So it's been very special to tell them about it, but they have to get down here to experience it to make sure that they can see exactly what we've been telling them.
Well, for you as a guy that played at Auburn, how special is it for you to be able to have that to sell now to recruits?
It's very special. I mean, to me, it's not really selling. You know what I mean? I've been able to experience it. I've lived it. I walked through these halls and been in their shoes before. So me sharing that experience is obviously personal, and just being able to show those guys and tell those guys, man, this is a place that you want to be. I mean, this place is special. It's been special to me since the day I walked here as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid, and it's still special. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm here today is because how special this place is.
Next, we'll go to Nathan King.
Hey Zach, we talked to Derek Mason a couple weeks ago. He said you guys are really sort of doing the secondary together. He's with safeties, you're with corners, but you guys kind of put your heads together. How's that relationship going? And what have you kind of seen from him so far in terms of y'all putting your brains together to coach the secondary as a whole?
Man, I mean, having an opportunity to work with a guy like Coach Derek Mason, I mean, first and foremost, the energy and the passion that he brings into the building every single day. I mean, just a guy wakes up, he loves the game of football. He comes in, he teaches, he let the guys bring ideas to the table. So just being able to be in the room with him and not just learning from him as a coordinator, but seeing him, he's been on every level from high school to the pros to in college and also been a head coach. So sitting in that room and sharing ideas, man, I'm just soaking it all in. As we go into the meeting room, we talk about it before. He let me run the meeting. We do a great job of just sharing ideas and making sure that the information to the kids is being spoken the same language. So we're all on the same page. So that's been the most impressive thing is just coming in every day and just being able to pick his brain but learn from him every single day. It's awesome to work for a guy like him, man, and I'm loving every moment of it.
Next, Bill Cameron.
Zach, you talked about a couple of the guys there at corner, and you've got a pretty deep group. How many do you want to be able to play, and where are you right now? How many do you feel like you can count on right now?
Well, right now it's really that'll be a thing that I look for in fall camp when we starting to really iron out the details, everything. But right now, we truly focusing on everybody mastering their craft every single day. Get better at being the best version of yourself. It's the main thing. But I mean, you want to have a group of guys that in that position more importantly because they not only just playing corner, they got to play all over the secondary, playing nickel, playing corner outside, but also having special teams value. If you can't play special teams, then you can't play defense. So the main thing is being an unselfish player to make sure that they understand that everybody in that room has to value playing special teams. And then if you do that, the opportunity of playing corner or playing in the secondary, you'll have the opportunity if you're doing whatever you're supposed to do. But the depth of the room, there's no such thing as depth, man. But at the end of the day, you want to have that because of competition breeds success. And I want those guys to continue to compete every single day to make each other better. And I'm going to continue to add guys to that room. They know that. And that's what we want to do is make sure they pushing each other every single day to continue to get better.
Question from Gianna Hahn.
Hi, so I know you're one of the only new guys that actually has a connection to Auburn, played for Auburn, and Coach Harsin talked about your talk with the guys and how meaningful it was. What does that mean, and do the other new coaches ever talk to you about your experience with Auburn and what it means and like how they can like learn from that?
Absolutely. We have those conversations every day. I mean, just working with this staff, man, these guys ask questions. We feed off each other. To me, everything about our Auburn creed, being an Auburn man, every day is just that blue collar, hard work mentality that you get out what you put in. So you got to show up every day and put in the work and just go compete and understand that you're doing that with humility. You're making sure that you're coming to work every single day to compete and knowing that no one is going to outwork you. No one is going to. We're not going to lay down to anybody. We're not going to quit. We're going to fight until the last second on the clock. So that mentality every day is just knowing what it takes and what we're trying to get this team back to is just being physical and hard nosed and just showing up every day and just putting in the work and making sure that we put a product on the field that everybody's proud of seeing. Everybody want to see that product on the field that this is Auburn football and this is what it's about and this is what we come to do.
Question from Tom Green.
Hey Zach, Tom Green with AL.com. Kind of going off of Derek saying that he views you more as a secondary coach overall, and you guys are working together back there. Just what have you seen from Ladarius Tennison this spring, and how much flexibility does he kind of give you guys by moving to safety?
Well, it's good. Tennyson has been around. Love the energy, love the way he's been, studying the game. He played a little down at first at nickel. We kind of moved him back on the roof back there with Smoke and just trying to see him and seeing him grow and mature every single day to embrace where we moved him. Just his physicality. I mean, he want to play downhill. He run and hit, but he do everything 100 miles per hour. I mean, pound for pound, he's one of the strongest guys on the team. And he shows up every day and coming in and just trying to master his craft and do what we ask him to do every single day. But really been impressed with him. From day one to where he's at now, it's really been really surprising and really something that we expected because the way he put in. But the guy has bought into really what we ask him to do, man. He plays the game the right way, and I'm excited to see where his future goes as we continue to build this thing out.
Let's go to Jordan Hill.
Hey Zach, Jordan Hill with Black Auburn News. You kind of hit on this a little bit, but with your background at Auburn, just what did it mean to you when this opportunity to coach here presented itself and allowed you the chance to come back here?
Man, I mean the world. I mean, it's no place. And, I told the coaches all the time I can be biased about this, but I've been all over the country, man. It's no place like Auburn. And when this opportunity came and I got the phone call from Coach Harsin, I mean, I was in shock. I was stunned just to get on the phone and talk to him about the opportunity. And then as it presented itself and we going through the interview process and just hearing what Coach Harsin, his plan and his vision for the program, it felt like that he knew exactly what the Auburn Creed stood for, and he haven't stepped a day on campus yet to figure out what it is. But that opportunity to come back home, man, it's been really fulfilling, and you come here to sacrifice. You sacrificing everything about what you do. So for me, coming back was just like I get an opportunity to serve guys that probably watched me play in the past, but have an opportunity to give them knowledge and awareness of what this place is about and what it means to be an Auburn man was the most important thing. And I was fired up for the opportunity because I know this place can win championships. I know this place can have great players. We just have to find that identity and that culture to put in the work. So for that, man, just having the opportunity to come back and serve was the most important thing.
Go to Brian Matthews.
Hey, Zach, great to see you.
Good to see you.
I just want to ask you about the past 10 years. How much of SEC offenses, especially in the West, changed since the 10 years ago when you played, and how does that change what you guys got to do on defense and in the secondary?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing, I mean, offenses don't really change much. I mean, you can go from spread to West Coast to doing things to mixed direction, but the main thing is if we do our job and we execute the scheme and have all fundamentals of what we've been coached to do, we'll be able to stop any offense. You know what I mean? But offensive spread week in and week out. You're gonna see teams with spread offense. You're gonna see pro style teams. I can tell you now, from what we're seeing every day in practice, I don't think a team out there can. We won't be prepared for it. You know what I mean? Just from what our offense is showing us, we're seeing everything. So that's we're gonna be prepared for that moment, and this has changed over the time, but we'll get better every single day by what we're seeing every day in practice.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to J.G. Tate.
Hey, Zach, it's been a minute. Good to see you. Listen, when you were being recruited, you were not a high-profile guy. You ended up having a great career. When you're out there recruiting, do you feel like you like those guys more who are maybe a little bit out of the spotlight, guys that are kind of following the path that you did when you were coming through?
Well, yeah, I mean, I take that approach every single day, and the guys that we'll evaluate. You got to thoroughly evaluate guys in all aspects of life in the football. I mean, we're not just looking at guys from a talent standpoint. We want guys that truly love the game of football. I mean, you can be the most talented guy out there, but you don't love the game, then it don't mean anything. I want a guy that's going to go out there every single day and pretty much know that he's going out there to play for something bigger than himself. So in my evaluation, when I call high school coaches and we talk to the people around this student athlete's life, I want to know, is he doing everything on and off the field? I mean, is he putting in the extra work? Is he doing the things that it takes to be an Auburn man before we decide to say, hey, this is the guy we want? But, I don't get into stars and all that, man. I recruit making sure that we're finding the right people. And when we find the people that truly love the game of football, and like myself, it's just I'm looking for those underdogs at times. I'm looking for those guys that don't have the 4 or 5 stars at times, and those are to be the guys that kind of get you over the hump, and those are guys that truly bring that blue collar mentality, along with the 4 or 5 stars, if they have that same makeup of what we're looking for in the student athlete.
We've got 3 more in the chat, so we'll finish up with those. Next is Justin Ferguson.
Hey, Zach, when we talked to Derek, he was talking about how he thought Roger has a future playing on Sundays. Do you agree with that assessment, and what are you guys trying to work with him specifically coming off of what was a really good year for them?
Well, the biggest thing with Roger is he's very talented. He has a lot of makeup. He has a skill set to play on Sundays. I mean, every single day when Roger is, he comes up to my office, the biggest is improving your football IQ and making sure that you're studying the game and not just playing on athletic ability. So, he's going to be a special player. We're working on that, but just seeing some of the things that he do in practice from a movement standpoint and recognize things, because he can tackle, he can run, he can cover, but now let's play the game before the snap even happened. And that's what we continue to improve on and work every single day is let's have great instincts and see it happen before it even happens, so now you can play faster and be an elite corner instead of just a good corner that came through Auburn.
Question from Philip Marshall.
Zach, good to see you again. What does having won it all, been to the mountaintop, how do you share that with your players about what it takes to be a champion?
All the time. I mean, the good thing about it, man, all guys, they ask that question, like what it takes. And we breathe that every single day because guys don't really care, what you did. It's really how you treat them, you know what I mean, how much you love them. But having the opportunity to share with those guys is like, look, every day is not going to be a great day. I mean, it's going to be obstacles along the way. But one thing you can't do is never let a stump in the road define the journey. You know where you want to go. So at the end of the day, you're gonna have a stumble along the way, but you gotta continue to push through. So if you continue to fight through and you overcome the adversity, then the prize is always at the top. You know what I mean? So just continue to work, but just being able to share that when they ask those questions at time is it's always been a pleasure to share it, you know, and be able to give those guys that knowledge. But also, if they come in at times, they'll come into my office and talk at times. I have the film to back it up that hey, I've done this before now. So just continue to work on yourself and master your craft, and then you'll be able to get exactly what I was able to accomplish when I came through this place as well.
And,
Played for Coach Roof. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You played for Coach Roof during your time here, and then you coached with him since then. And how much has he meant to your journey?
Well,
Playing coach.
it's funny that you asked that, Philip. It's just making sure, man. Man, Coach Roof he's like a father figure to me. I mean, he's one of my main mentors and the reason why I got into this. You know, when I had the opportunity after here to go to Oakland, things didn't work out. You know what I mean? And Coach Roof called me 3 or 4 times to talk to me about getting into coaching because he thought I would be great at it. And I lean on him every single day. You know, every year anything comes up, it's not a guy that I call first between Coach Roof and obviously, you know, Coach Chiz are guys that I lean on a lot when it comes to this profession because, you know, you don't go places by yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta have someone to lean on. And Coach Roof, man, he means the world to me. His wife, Pam, the boys, everybody, man, we continue to talk and love everything about him because he's one of the reasons I'm in this profession and I'm in this position now because he's helped me along the place at different stops along the way.
Thank you.
And we'll finish up with Mark Murphy.
Zach, does Roger McCreary remind you any of your former teammate Gerard Powers?
Actually, do he do? Roger and Gerard has a skill set. It's funny that you asked that. Me and Gerard actually talked last night. You know, trying to get him to come down to be around the team so these guys can see that we was in the same room together. But Gerard and Roger, they have some similarities in terms of movement, you know, body type, style of how they play. So yeah, he reminds me of him a lot, and just the way he moves and play, man. And Roger's a smart kid. He's very intelligent, just like Gerard was really smart. So those guys have been able to remind me of each other every time you turn the tape, man, and just excited to see it. And hopefully Roger can put all that together to be as high as Gerard was when he was drafted.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach, very much.
Thank you.